Mercury Intelligence in Astrology, Part 1. Mercury governs multiple forms of intelligence depending on who it joins. In this part, we explore Mercury in conjunction with Moon and Jupiter, which activates interpersonal and naturalist intelligence, both tied to communication, awareness, and adaptive learning. When Mercury is conjunct Moon, the mind and emotions merge. This opens up naturalist intelligence, an intelligence rooted in observation, pattern recognition, emotional sensitivity, and categorization. You become attuned to environments, both inner and outer. You're good at noticing the subtle shifts in people's moods, weather patterns in relationships, and natural groupings in systems or ideas. You observe, collect, and mentally sort information through traits, themes, and intuitive groupings. Whether it's people, nature, or emotional patterns, your mind internalizes the world through sensing how things relate. In the first house, this gives you a sharp intuitive mind and expressive demeanor. People feel understood by you. In the fifth, it becomes creative and nurturing, teaching, storytelling, working with children, or psychology. In the ninth, it manifests as a love of learning from life through travel, philosophy, nature, or direct experience. In the 10th, you may use this intelligence professionally, education, therapy, publishing, media, or wellness fields. Now with Mercury conjunct Jupiter, the energy shifts toward interpersonal intelligence. This is collaborative intelligence, the ability to connect with others, communicate meaningfully, and influence group dynamics. You're skilled at joint problem solving, diplomacy, and mutual understanding. You don't just talk, you listen, and you shape your words in response to the other person. Jupiter gives Mercury the moral compass and big picture thinking, while Mercury gives Jupiter the language and delivery. The result is someone who teaches, mentors, negotiates, or guides with clarity and empathy. When placed in the first house, this makes you an excellent communicator, persuasive, insightful, approachable. In the third house, this expands your communication toolkit, writing, networking, presenting, and social learning. In the fourth, it shows up in emotional intelligence, particularly within family or intimate circles. You may be the peacekeeper, the teacher, the one who makes sense of things. In the fifth, this creates expressive intelligence, teaching through creativity, parenting with wisdom, or using humor and play to make connections. In the 10th, this becomes professional charisma, a great placement for leadership in education, media, writing, consulting, or public speaking. In the 11th, it enhances group interaction, managing teams, building networks, leading communities. Both Moon-Mercury and Jupiter-Mercury combinations reflect different styles of communication, but what unites them is emotional attunement and adaptive delivery. You think fast, speak thoughtfully, and adjust your words based on what the situation needs. This is intelligence that listens, absorbs, and responds. It's not just about being smart, it's about being in tune. Mercury in these pairings doesn't just gather information, it shares it with care. It communicates to connect, to teach, and to understand. It doesn't want to win the argument, it wants to keep the conversation alive. Mercury Intelligence in Astrology, Part 2. Mercury with Moon. When Mercury joins with the Moon, the intelligence becomes fluid, emotionally aware, and naturally integrative. This is the signature of naturalist intelligence, the kind that notices patterns in people, nature, moods, and the environment. It's not about raw data or facts, it's about attunement. Your mind processes what it senses. You think in terms of traits, relationships, rhythms. You understand things not just by definition, but by how they feel and where they belong. Mercury gives the mind clarity, language, and observation. Moon gives mood, memory, and emotional resonance. Together, they create a person who doesn't just learn, they absorb. You may find yourself intuitively grouping things, colors that go together, people who have similar energy, habits that repeat in cycles. You feel the logic behind systems. Whether it's nature, food, art, or behavior, you organize by flow, not formula. In the first house, this pairing becomes your baseline personality. You may come across as thoughtful, caring, and naturally perceptive. You likely read people quickly, speak softly but effectively, and absorb emotional cues as if by instinct. You process your surroundings with subtle awareness, and you adjust your communication style to match what people need to hear. Your body language, tone, and expressions often carry just as much weight as your words. In the fifth house, this shows up through emotional intelligence in creativity and relationships. You may work with children, express yourself through emotionally rich art, or find joy in nurturing others through storytelling, music, or symbolic language. Teaching comes naturally, especially when it involves guiding others gently through emotional or psychological concepts. This placement favors parenting, creative coaching, or artistic work with deep feeling. In the ninth house, your pattern recognition becomes philosophical. You learn from experiences, not textbooks. You may be drawn to indigenous knowledge, nature-based spirituality, dream work, or storytelling that carries moral or emotional weight. You don't just study culture, you feel into it. You might also excel at sensing the emotional tone behind belief systems, ideologies, or spiritual teachings. When Mercury-moon lands in the 10th house, this intelligence becomes your public signature. You're the kind of person others trust to communicate sensitive messages. A therapist, counselor, teacher, writer, or media voice who knows how to speak to the heart. Your career may involve emotional labor, intuitive strategy, or interpreting soft data. Things that can't be measured but must be understood. The emotional memory of the moon and the analytical focus of Mercury give you an ability to learn through lived, felt experience. You're not someone who just remembers facts. You remember what something felt like, how it moved, and how it fit into the bigger picture. You may struggle with rigid or dry learning formats, but excel when you can engage through storytelling, imagery, movement, or connection. Mercury with Moon blends emotional fluency with cognitive structure. It's the mind that listens, the voice that reflects, the intelligence that's gentle but deep. This is someone who can explain what others feel but can't say, who gives language to emotion and shape to inner experience. Mercury Intelligence in Astrology Part 3, Mercury with Ketu. When Mercury is conjunct Ketu, the intelligence becomes existential, abstract, and highly refined. This combination activates existential intelligence, the kind that asks, why am I here? What's the deeper meaning behind all this? It's not surface-level thinking. It's intelligence that deconstructs, strips away illusion, and seeks what is subtle, true, and lasting. Mercury brings language, logic, communication, and analysis. Ketu, on the other hand, is nonlinear, mystical, intuitive, and detached from worldly noise. Together, they create a mind that is precise yet uninterested in trivia. You don't want facts for fact's sake. You want insight. You want the essence of a thing, not the packaging. This pairing gives the ability to sift through complexity, throw away distractions, and find the core message. It's excellent for philosophy, spiritual studies, deconstructive writing, deep research, or anything that requires stepping back from ego or emotion. You might be soft-spoken or even silent at times, but when you speak, it cuts through noise. Your words have weight, even if they're few. In the third house, this intelligence becomes incredibly focused. You may have a quiet but exacting way of communicating, not flashy but potent. You might write, teach, or research in a way that feels minimalistic, but each word carries precision. There's also a skeptical quality here. You question social narratives, challenge norms, and seek to express what's real, even if it's unpopular. In the fifth house, Mercury-Ketu refines creative intelligence into something unusually deep. This isn't casual creativity, it's symbolic, often philosophical or mystical. You might teach with stories, work in spiritual education, or create art that carries meaning layered beneath the surface. There's a natural disinterest in superficial recognition. You create for clarity, for insight, or to transmit something ancient and eternal. In the sixth house, this intelligence becomes surgical. You can spot flaws, errors, or inefficiencies others miss. This makes for a gifted analyst, editor, therapist, or even coder. There's a sense that you solve problems not by brute force, but by removing what's unnecessary. Ketu gives detachment, Mercury gives method. The result is someone who simplifies complexity and offers solutions others wouldn't see. In the 10th house, Mercury-Ketu becomes a public voice for truth. You may end up in careers that challenge conventional thought. Alternative media, spiritual or philosophical teaching, systems analysis, or research-based roles. Your intelligence here isn't loud, but it resonates. People trust you because you don't chase trends. You speak from a place of clarity and detachment. Overall, Mercury with Ketu is intelligence that cuts away illusion, seeks timeless principles, and uses communication not to impress, but to transmit essence. It often carries a touch of ancient memory, as if your mind is wired to remember truths others have forgotten. There may be phases of withdrawal, silence, or disinterest in the modern world's pace, but behind that, there's a mind quietly working, always refining. Existential intelligence doesn't ask, "What do I know?" It asks, "What matters and how do I say only that?" And Mercury with Ketu becomes the vessel for that question to find form.